Hello team, Drew here, coming to you over video for a little company update. We have traditionally done this via written word and the employee newsletter, which this will still go out through the employee newsletter. But I wanted to try coming through this format. We will likely do a little bit more video related communication, particularly now that we have better tools with Paylocity and Deputy. So this weekend, we're trying it this way as we give a little update on transitioning from 2024 into 2025. So let's spend a little bit of time looking back on 2024, which was really the year of dialing in Whitefish Bay and starting to really pave the way for more investments into our physical infrastructure and kind of bring the company back to financial stability. So Whitefish Bay, that opened right at the end of 2023, and I'm very happy to report it's a very successful cafe for us. Coming out of 2023, the company did not make much money at all. We have invested heavily over the last 3-4 years in employee pay and benefits, and opening Whitefish Bay and really dialing in all of our processes, all of our kind of financial tools in retail, wholesale, and e-commerce helped us have a much better year in 2024. So even as we continue to make progress and move employee pay and benefits, the company right now versus where we were a year ago is in a much better financial position. So I just want to shout out all of the teams across the retail group, Downer as they really had a strong fall, and then Whitefish Bay as we worked over the course of the year to change our product line some and figure out things like wine service and beer, and it's just a unique space. So it's just been a great team effort across the board to try and get that space optimized, and we continue to work on it. Like this last Thursday, we just changed the bowls and boards menu in Whitefish Bay over to be like bowls and then PM sandwiches, which we only have 2 days of data at this point, but the early signs are that customers like that. So we'll see how it performs over the next couple of months and keep iterating. Never stop learning. That's our deal. So never stop learning means we keep trying new stuff in hopes that it's going to propel us, into the future in a positive way. So Whitefish Bay, big deal for us in 2024. We also worked to complete our first recertification as a B Corporation in 2024, which we did all of our work on that. Our certification is currently on pause because Rachel, who leads that for us, is out on maternity leave. But when she returns, we'll be able to get that wrapped up pretty quickly. So shout out Rachel for all of her work and collaborating with me on that recertification. Just a reminder, as a B Corp, that means that we're a for-profit company that seeks to create value for all of our stakeholders through 5 key impact areas. Look those up. So being a B Corp, of course, is very close to like the heartbeat of Stone Creek Coffee. It's our way of interpreting the idea of Geary, which is our corporate name, Geary Corporation, into like actual provable impact. So B Corporation, we like that. We also invested heavily this year in digital marketing. So SMS marketing, all of our automated email stuff, like that's where I spent a lot of my time over the last year, is in the digital space. So if you saw me in cafe, odds are pretty good that I was looking at a computer. Not necessarily my favorite way to spend time, but really interesting, and I think really impactful for the business long term, as we'll talk about what our priorities are in 2025. We did make good progress on e-commerce, which I had talked about in other workshops. It's like a big priority for us. The year before last, we grew, I think, like 10 or 15% in e-commerce. Last year, we grew 20. So we continue to see opportunities in selling coffee direct to consumer through online stuff. And we got a couple projects cooking right now to continue to like fuel that. We also were targeting grocery, particularly like local grocery. So getting our coffee like better stocked, better visibility. So, over the course of the last 2 years, we ended up in all the regional Kroger locations. We're in a few Outpost locations. We're in most of the Sendix locations. And we're just trying to make sure that when we're in these grocery stores with our products, that they're faced well, that they're stocked well. And we did double our grocery presence over the last year, our grocery sales, which is another dub. So the things that we really targeted, getting Whitefish Bay dialed, continuing to grow our e-commerce, grow grocery, like those performed pretty well and really helped with that raising the financial performance of the business. As we proceeded through the fall, we were particularly looking at what can we do in 2025 to continue to fuel those efforts. Like, are there specific areas in the local coffee market, the broader coffee market? Are there particular products where we think we have opportunities to do some really unique stuff, things that will maybe help Stone Creek Coffee grow in a like at a faster pace, that don't involve opening new cafes because it's very expensive to open new cafes. The Whitefish Bay project was our most expensive build ever outside of the factory. And that puts some debt on the business year over year. There may be some other strategies to growing a company like ours that don't involve or require that much cash investment. So we spent a lot of time looking for these opportunities, and we picked out a couple as we go into 2025. But before I get there, the last thing I want to talk about is at the end of last year, we also made a couple compensation adjustments. So most of you are very familiar with those. We raised the starting pay in production and bakery $1 an hour, as well as addressed the rest of the teams. And then in the cafes, we instituted some tenure-based raise guarantees. So what that means is that we establish thresholds that if you've been here for 3 or 4 years, you're going to make at minimum what those thresholds are. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to get an extra dollar per year, but it means that if you've been here 3 years, you're going to be making a minimum of $15 an hour plus your tips. So we think those are really healthy thresholds, and we continue to try and bump all of production and bakery. As with the growth of our tip rates, the cafe barista compensation has kind of outpaced production bakery compensation because those are non-tipped roles. So we want to kind of find an equilibrium there here over the next couple of years. So that's a big priority for us too, even as we want to keep providing opportunities for our baristas to grow their compensation, because we want all of our roles to be sustainable. We want them to be something that if you really want to, you can, support yourself in, find a career in over the years. So that kind of wraps up what we did in 2024 and the vision looking into 2025. Right now, we've got, like I said, several big projects cooking, including 2 big remodels. One being our Delafield Cafe. That started January 6th. That cafe right now is completely gutted. Everything's out. So everything's getting painted. We're doing a whole new ops area, all new merch stuff. The tables are staying because those are nice, but then new chairs, new bathroom stuff, new toilets. So that cafe will feel very new and fresh when we're done with that. That cafe will reopen February 21st, that Friday. So I amped about that. That's actually where I started in Stone Creek. It was a long time ago now, 11 years, but thrilled to see that cafe kind of get the big refresh treatment that we've done in most of our other cafes at this point. As we finish that, we'll be doing some planning to address the factory in 2026, maybe late 25. But the other remodel that we have cooking right now is the website. We're building a whole new Stone Creek Coffee website. And as we do that, we're tweaking the Stone Creek Coffee brand slightly. We've really positioned our coffee products in the cafes to be roast level centric, right? That's why we have light, medium, and dark bags, which we think is cool. It's unique. Not other people do that. And we're actually going to go further. The bags are going to stay the same, but we're going to actually try and position each coffee at a point in the roast spectrum. So we can literally line them up from the lightest coffee to the darkest coffee, and then work on how we communicate that to customers visually. We're also doing that on the website. The website's going to become much more roast level centric. We're moving over from WooCommerce to Shopify. So it's a whole new kind of checkout process that we think is much more seamless for customers, going to allow us to get more creative, more specific with how subscriptions are created. Amped about it. It's a lot of work right now. It's a big push. It's kind of like building a cafe, but in the digital space. The target for launching that is March 20th, and that's coming alongside a packaging adjustment. So right now we sell 1 pound bags and 5 pound bags. We are moving to 12 ounce bags, 2 pound bags, and 5 pound bags. So we'll launch those online with that March 20th website launch, and We'll probably do the cafe swap from 1 pound bags to 12 ounce and 2 pound like 2 weeks after that. That's still a little bit TBD. But why are we doing the packaging transition? We're doing the packaging transition because all of our competitors, like literally all specialty coffee, I don't know another company that's selling 1 pound bags. And the reason that that's important that we have something size related to compete with our competitors is in grocery. So right now, if you go to Sendix, Stone Creek coffee is on the shelf there for anywhere from $16 to $20 for a 1 pound bag, whereas all of our competitors have 12 ounce bags at like 14 or 15. So per ounce, we're cheaper, but or we're at least competitive, but we look way more expensive because most customers, they're not going to be like looking at how many ounces are in the bag. So we at least need to like get on the same playing field. At least we think that will be beneficial in the grocery environment. So we're making that change. There's another kind of factor that I'll talk about that just I didn't write in my outline here, but I think is probably worth talking about, and that is that we also aim to take a price increase as we come into the spring here on the coffee. Last one price increase we took was about a year and a half ago on the coffee. Coffee market's bananas right now, and when I say that, what I mean is the commodity price for coffee over the last year and a half has doubled. So, what that means for us, we don't buy commodity grade coffee, but a lot of our coffee is priced against commodity price. So we'll pay, for instance, like $1.50 more than the commodity price per pound. And if the commodity price doubles, our coffee price doesn't quite double, but it's going to go up by 60%. So like this year, if you just look at the raw cash outflow we're going to pay for our green coffee pound for pound, it's going to be roughly $300,000 more than what we would have spent last year. That's, of course, a lot of money. And you've probably been reading about the coffee market, in different newsletters or in the news. It's kind of unprecedented. It's by far the highest I've ever seen the coffee market in my 14 years of coffee experience at this point. And actually, I'm pretty sure in Eric's 30 plus years of coffee experience, it's the highest it's been in 30 years. And it's been a pretty aggressive escalation. So all that to say is, what are we doing with pricing? We currently charge $20 for a 1 pound bag. We're going to charge $20 for a 12 ounce bag. And then we're going to charge $42 for the 2 pound bag. So it's a very small price increase if you're buying a 2 pound bag versus buying 2 1 pound bags as we would have done before. And we think that that's a good way to, like, for those customers who are buying a lot of coffee, like, it's a very small price increase, but it allows us on the 12 ounce bag to kind of make up the difference. And then we're taking $1 per pound price increase on the 5 pound bags. So 5 pound bag currently $85 for the year-round coffees. Those are going to be $90. So that all is going to go into effect when we do the spring launch. When we do this website transition, that's March 20th. So FYI for that, you can look for the weekly recap where we'll have this information kind of laid out more linearly, maybe easier to track than my meandering thoughts. But all that's coming March 20th. Hopefully that's helpful background information when customers ask about it. One of the other things we're doing alongside the website, so I'm moving on from our remodels right now, Delafield remodel, website relaunch, rebuild, transition. Number 3 big projects we're doing right now is working on a new coffee brand. And this brand is really being developed for online sales and grocery. Like, it's not really for our cafes. We may have a couple of those SKUs in our cafes or those products that we're developing. But it's not going to be Stone Creek Coffee. It'll be X brand, whatever we call it, by Stone Creek Coffee, kind of little. I'm very excited when we get a little bit further to share more and ultimately share the designs. It's our way, we think, of creating product lines that maybe have a little bit more or like a higher chance to sell really well in markets that aren't Milwaukee. Like the Stone Creek Coffee brand, the roast level specification that we're doing is going to help us communicate why Stone Creek Coffee is special. in other markets, but for the longest time, you kind of only know Stone Creek Coffee as what your cafe experience has been within the greater Milwaukee area, which is why most of our online sales are very Milwaukee area centric. We're trying to kind of reach outside of that for the online sales and for the grocery stuff. So we're trying to create products that customers can see on the shelf and intuitively understand what the brand and the product is about. So there's a lot more where that came from. Hopefully that's helpful in understanding those projects too. And those are really the emphasis for us in 2025 is continue to hone the retail performance, make sure all the cafes are humming as best they can, trying to make Sweet Foam as easy to deal with as possible as we get ready for another summer launch. We may be looking to extend some sandwiches into all the cafes. I mentioned we're currently experimenting with a broader kind of lunch-oriented sandwich menu in Whitefish Bay, and the early response to that has been good. But we're heavily invested in getting the new website up and continuing to see our e-commerce grow. This year we planned our budget to be, roughly like 10% revenue growth over last year, which the bulk of that would be coming through e-commerce and wholesale. I think I broke it out to where the cafes I think are going to grow about 5% in sales through small customer count growth and then small price increase that we're going to take in the spring. But we think that our reach through grocery and the wholesale business to business world, and then the work we're doing on e-commerce, new website, new brand, will drive a lot of the growth for us as a company. I hope I'm right. I hope we're right. It's a lot of work across the team. Eric has really spearheaded the development of the new brand, and then we're working together on the website. And then our whole team's involved. Eric's done a great job of bringing the thinking of the new brand to our leadership team to allow everybody to have a say and give feedback. And so I'm really excited. I hope ultimately we're all right, and it's another good year of progress for us as a company. The nice thing is that it's not taking all of the cash to build out these ideas, to do this work that the Whitefish Bay Cafe did. So I think that we'll have another great year of progress. I think we'll have another great year of continuing to evolve how we operate as an employer. One thing I didn't talk about earlier was, we did several big projects last year related to how we manage our performance management, to make that more of a human process, to invite our employees in more whenever there might be concerns of performance. And then we also did a lot of work last year on all of our HR management tools. So we changed from Paycor, and we brought in a great new scheduling system, Deputy. We moved all the documents and PTO requests, etc., over to Paylocity. So as we continue to go through 2025, we want to make sure that that those experience points for you as an employee are extremely dialed. So don't ever hesitate to raise your hand. We've got a lot of tools, a lot of great tools for giving feedback, including those QR codes for speaking up in the cafes. Those are a great way to speak up anonymously and just throw out ideas. You're also welcome to reach out over email. We've got the team maps in the cafes that show you exactly where you can reach out to different team leaders. If you have ideas for like new products, you can reach out to Harmony, who leads our products and implementation team. If you have ideas for benefits, you can reach out to Eva, who leads our teams and people team. If you have ideas for, where we might go as a company or questions about how we manage things financially, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. Like, all that information is available for you in the cafes. So please, please, please take advantage of it. There's also things like the employee feedback group that meets every 2 months with me, a good way to just bring feedback from your team, and we can talk about some of the different pain points across the company, make commitments on how we're going to work on those things. Those are the things that really help propel us as a business, as an employer, to get better. So if you watched all of this, which it was a lot, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you all. I'm really looking forward to seeing how we continue to grow, how we continue to learn and change through 2025. Have a great rest of your January.